So developer underscore delay 24 scored another hit, I think, with the surprise reveal of an Xbox version of Visions of Mana. It's a game that isn't actually, it's coming fairly soon, I think. And I think this was yet again another triumph. John, just in terms of quality of presentation, styling, this just looked really, really great, I thought.
Oh gosh, yeah, the actual the sequence, first of all, the sequence within the direct here, the way it was filmed and presented, I thought was exceptionally well done. Probably the best of the bunch. Really cool. But also, I thought it was nice that they were able to get Square Enix included in this presentation, because it's the type of presentation we don't see that often from them. Where it's
Right,
like
absolutely.
this sort of visit to the studio, look at people working on things, and it's nice to have footage of that and sort of more of a discussion on what they're trying to do with it. And it also kind of feels like a bit of a we've made up kind of thing with Square Enix. Not that Square hasn't published games on Xbox, they certainly have done that, but it does give me some hope that they've sort of corrected their seemingly visible relationship issues. I don't know a good way to describe that, but you know the sentiment, right? Where it just it felt like Square was kind of skipping out on Xbox a lot in recent years.
Yeah.
And this kind of feels, between this and Final Fantasy XIV, it feels like a nice turn for them, sort of targeting more platforms, including Xbox. And this is a game that I am extremely interested in as a longtime fan of Seiken Densetsu. It's I don't know. This is probably to Alex as the prior game was to me, where it's like this is not a game you're interested in.
It looks visually awesome. I thought it was visually incredible.
I love this, and I think this is neat that they're reviving the series again. This is an actual new entry. It's basically the fifth game, you could say. I mean, they've made many more titles in the series, but they've all been kind of spin-offs, remakes to a certain point. And I like the visual style they're going for here. I think it's bright, colorful. The characters are well shaded and realized. They have that cartoony look to them, but it's like almost cell shading, but not exactly, But the world itself, there's a surprising amount of detail in those backgrounds, despite the bright sort of color. It kind of reminds me of what was done with Dragon Quest XI on Unreal Engine back in the day. I assume this is Unreal Engine.
I think it would be too.
So I think the remake of the third game was also Unreal Engine, which is Trials of Mana. This looks noticeably better than that, though, and I think it's partially due to the fact that Trials was sort of adhering to what was effectively a pixel art grid-based design and translating that into 3D, where this is an original game, so they can create environments that take full advantage of 3D. Yeah. So, that's...
There seems to be a focus in the segment which was about, okay, how do you make pixel art work in a 3D way? And, actually showcasing the monsters and the animations and whatnot showed. Yep. It was really quite compelling stuff.
And that is something key to a lot of these Japanese RPG style games, is that the enemies themselves are almost as important as the characters to a degree in terms of their iconography and the way they're represented, right? And I think you really see that here with a lot of that attention to detail poured into the individual animations, their silhouettes, their color choices. It all works really well.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like this game's coming out in the summer this year.
Interesting. And okay.
I also like the segment here on the sound design, because this is another thing the series is well known for. It's soundscape, which I expect great music here. But I wonder if I didn't see if they mentioned who was doing the music, but it would be nice to see if Hiroki Kikuta was involved, who was the composer for the original for the second game on the Super NES, Secret of Mana, which was actually Seiken Densetsu 2.
Well, there was an emphasis on the legacy credentials of this release.
Right.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, do you guys have anything to say on this? Or?
I'm John, despite what you're saying, I'm actually excited for this based upon the direct.
Wow.
I think it looks beautiful.
That's cool.
I liked the emphasis on tying back to a series with epic roots. It goes back really far. and then maintaining that. The only thing is, I actually do love turn-based gameplay. And I really love turn-based gameplay. People I know that people don't like it.
I love it too, but this series has always been action, right?
Okay, so yeah, so like that's the only thing like where I like no like I'm not super into there's no really good way to say it, but like JRPGs that are real time, I haven't really been able to get myself into them always, but maybe this will be an exception to the rule where I feel engrossed in it enough because I thought the world looked so great. So I also want to see it running on my system, and it is a PC. Just looked it up. It is coming out at least on Steam even, which is great. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that, and maybe we can, when John covers this, I can do a little excursus in his video about it.
That would be fun.
About the PC.
I was it would never happen, but I was kind of like secretly wishing we would see a cameo from Nazir Gebeli in this video. He's long out of games, but Nazir was famous for basically being the original programmer of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
The Iranian American guy.
Yeah, the Iranian guy.
Legendary in the Apple II scene, and he did amazing work on the Famicom and Super Famicom, and he was the programmer of Secret of Mana, which famously was originally a Super NES CD game that they had to strip back when that add-on was canceled.
Wow.
And you can kind of feel it in the final product, even though it's still good. But that's it's quite a legacy this series has.